The following is a production of CUTV Sports.
From the Convocation Center on the campus of California University of Pennsylvania. Tonight, it's a must-win scenario for the California Vulcans men's basketball team as they will take on a team looking to spoil the party, the Seton Hill Griffins. Hello and welcome to the broadcast, everyone. My name is Matt Hagee. Alongside me is Zach Prospa. And Zach, the Vulcans took a little off from the PSAC on Valentine's Day weekend, but they still played a game, and they won in West Virginia against Davis and Elkins.
Yeah, playing against a team from the GMAC conference, a little bit of a different environment because you're playing a non-conference game so late in the season, but California came away with a 4-point victory, 75-71 in that game. Richard Smith, he had a very good day, nearing a double-double. Daniel Sapp, I believe it was a career-high 14 points for him as well, into the starting lineup for the injured Jake Jakubik. Both of them had very good games, leading their team to a much-needed victory, even though it wasn't in the conference.
As for Seton Hill, it's not the season they've wanted, and they went up to Slippery Rock on Saturday, and the struggles continued.
Yeah, Seton Hill comes into this game 5-14 in conference, and one of those 14 losses was this past Saturday on Valentine's Day. Slippery Rock came away with a 70-51 win. Seton Hill they've had struggles all year competing, but they're a very young team, and definitely one to look forward to the next few years.
And the last time these two teams faced was 1 month ago yesterday, and Seton Hill got the upset win over California, but California was missing a few people.
Yeah, California lost that game 63-59. However, in that game, Jake Jakubik and Drew Cook both did not play. And that's really what I think turned the tide towards Seton Hill in that game. And David Windsor, he went off for nearly 30 points in that game as well. And that's why, you'll see in a moment why he's one guy you definitely have to look at tonight.
And now getting to our players to watch. We're going to start with the Vulcans, and we mentioned him earlier. He's a freshman. He's really come on strong late, not just on Saturday, and it's Daniel Sapp.
And Daniel Sapp this year, averaging about 4 points a game, near 4 rebounds a game. He's come in, he's in the mold of Armand Marks, in my opinion, where he'll take over maybe that 6-man role starting next year before he gets in the starting lineup his junior and senior year. He's done very good, and like I said, 14 points Saturday. I'd like to see that come back on this day against Seton Hill, a team in conference and when it really matters.
For Seton Hill, we mentioned him already. He's the reason why they won last January, and it was David Windsor.
And David Windsor comes in leading scorer for Seton Hill, about 16.5 a game, 29 or so the last time that these two teams played. If he can replicate that at all, get a little bit more help from the teammates around him, and Seton Hill has a very good chance of not only upsetting the Vulcans, but sweeping the season series and really putting the Vulcans' playoff hopes in misery with only 2 games left on the season.
Should be a great matchup tonight here from the snowy Convocation Center here in mid-February. We got tip-off next between the Griffins of Seton Hill and the California Vulcans next on CUTV.
NCAA Division II has much to cheer about, as nearly 100,000 student athletes compete with passion and pride. And I'm pleased to share the best news of all. Student athletes are outperforming the rest of the D2 student body in graduation rates. Just another reason why you'll hear us say with pride, I chose Division II. Learn more at d2sa.org.
With 18 institutions, my conference is the largest league across all NCAA classifications. With nearly 7,000 student athletes competing in 23 championships, my conference sponsors the most championships in Division II. With a 78% academic success rate, my conference graduates student athletes well above the national average. We compete with passion. We take pride in our efforts in the arena and in the classroom. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Passion, pride, Pennsylvania.
Welcome back to the Convocation Center. So we're about to get ready to tip this one off here between the Seton Hill Griffins and the California Vulcans. My name is Matt. Once again, alongside me is Zach Prospa. And Zach, we're going to take a look at the tail of the tape between these two rivals.
Yeah, when you look at the tail of the tape, a lot of it actually favors California, except for the shooting percentages, but everything else really in the favor of California, which you would think then California would definitely be the favorite to win this game. I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe not. I think rebounding, definitely see there is the advantage California has with Richard Smith, Calvin Brown, Tony Richardson, all down there trying to get those rebounds. That would be huge for the Vulcans tonight.
And they're just announcing starters right now. They weren't posted at all, but we're going to start with Seton Hill. It's going to be Spencer Kaysen, number 2, the big freshman from Chartiers Valley High School. He had 6 blocks in January. David Windsor, we mentioned him earlier, the big senior. Cameron Taylor, number 5. Noah Davis, number 21, the sophomore from Bellwood Antis. And then rounding out the starting lineup from Montenegro, Damjan Stradinovic.
And Stradinovic, he's number 33 on our roster. He's actually number 31 on the court tonight because he has a home number and an away number. So he's actually number 31 instead of 33 tonight. And for California, the starters tonight, Drew Cook, Khalil Jabby, Richard Smith, Calvin Brown, and instead of Jake Jakubek, so the second time he will not be starting at least against Seton Hill this year, Daniel Sapp, our player to watch, will be in the lineup.
Right on cue. And I mean, talking with some of the trainers, Jake Jakubek's been dealing with his ankle all season, not just for Seton Hill. That wasn't when it first flared up. It's been dealing with that all season. Maybe that get more of a bench presence out of him. But that could be huge. If you can have a 1-2 bench presence off of Jakubek and Marks.
Yeah, and Armand Marks, he's entering his last 2 home games almost assuredly in the Convo Center. He's the lone senior on this team. We had him on the Bill Brown Show this week. He's a tremendous gentleman off the court.
Yes.
However, I think you might see a little bit of aggression here on the court tonight. He wants to get into playoffs.
Smith and Kaysen cleanly wins the tip-off, and David Windsor will start for Seton Hill.
And Spencer Kaysen, he comes in averaging just under 4 blocks a game. He had 6 the first time these two teams played.
He was playing unbelievable at the time of the last time these two teams faced. Stradinovic at the top of the key will hand it off to Davis and back to Damjan. Now Damjan drives on Sapp, pushes him off, goes back for a jumper, and puts it in. So right off the bat, Seton Hill up 2-0.
And Stradinovic with the first 2, about 30 seconds in, and that's what's going to be key. California has to do it on the defensive end to cause things to go right for you on offense. You also have to hit a 3-pointer. Last Wednesday's game, the last one we did against UPJ, was the first time since 08-09 California did not hit a 3-pointer.
Sapp at the top of the key, hands it off to Cook. Cook tries to look for Smith, goes around, stolen away by Stradinovic. Stradinovic takes it back. Wow, all to the basket, and it'll be called for a foul. It won't be a shooting foul. It was fouled before that.
That foul's going to go on Sapp. That will be his first foul of the game. And Matt, I mentioned before, California worst 3-point shooting percentage, worst 3-point performance really in about 6 years. However, on Saturday they posted a season high in 3-point field goal percentage.
Now Stradinovic takes the inbounds here. Trying to work inside the Kaysen. Kaysen loses, it'll be out of bounds. Turnover, Seton Hill, California ball.
And, you know, Kaysen, he's 6'8", and he's only a redshirt freshman from Chartiers Valley, but not tall enough to quite get that pass, even though it's hard to overthrow a 6'8" man.
And at one point in that Seton Hill game, there were only 3 scorers who made points up until halftime. It was Taylor, Windsor, and even Zach Herman, the sophomore from Greensburg Central Catholic. As Jabby loses possession of the basketball, goes out of bounds. California ball. Looks like the ref kind of made a little change right there, but California will keep it.
Yeah, there was some traffic down there, and the ref was actually in my way. Not saying that he's in a wrong position, but I just could not see who the ball might have hit off of.
Jabby hands it off to Sapp at the point. He's taking his time inside the Calvin Brown. This will be a big matchup. He did not play in the first meeting against Seton Hill. Now he puts up a shot right there. No good. Rebounded out of bounds. California ball. And Brown did play, but we didn't see a lot of him against Seton Hill.
Yeah, that was before Calvin Brown really started to get acclimated and comfortable with the offense and the defense that California was running. He just transferred in from Cheney, so you have to give him some time. Now he has, and he's the center in this lineup with Richard Smith being the power forward that can stretch out the floor.
Be an interesting matchup between him and Kaysen. It was him and Richardson back in January as Sapp tries to get it to Richard Smith, goes out of bounds, and Seton Hill again playing some great defense so far.
Yeah, and that one looked like Seton Hill wasn't even trying to tip the ball. Just threw a hand up and it happened to go off. You still have 21 to shoot if you're California, but you need to get a good look off of this possession and at least tie it up early on in this game.
Now Jabby directing traffic here, just underway. Very snowy day in the California area. Jabby over to Smith. Smith will pull for a jumper. Too strong, rebounded by Seton Hill as Cameron Taylor. Taylor will hand it back to Windsor, over to Kaysen. Now over to Noah Davis. Stredanovic, over to Cameron Taylor. Hands it back to Stredanovic. Stredanovic did not do much against California in the last meeting. He fires this one over to Taylor. Taylor with a sharp shot, no good, rebounded by Richard Smith.
And that's those rebounds that are going to be huge. Seton Hill, one of the worst rebounding teams in the PSAC. You notice there, all 4 men for Seton Hill cleared out to the other side of the court. That's why they played pretty good defense, though.
Here's Calvin Brown working on Kaysen. Brown works around them, tries to go for a block. No, he does not get it, and Calvin Brown gets the first 2 points for California.
So in the first matchup between the 2 shot blockers, advantage goes to Calvin Brown on the offensive end.
Davis inside to Taylor. Over to Windsor. Windsor started out hot. He gives this one to Kaysen. Kaysen's blocked away by Richard Smith. And here come the Vulcans with Sapp leading the way. He'll pull back and give it to Jabby. Jabby storms around Taylor. Gets fouled by Noah Davis.
And that's a huge foul there. Is Jabby going to go to the line? 84.4% on the year. One of the best in the PSAC. Best marks on California. But on the other end there, going back to that shot from Kaysen, Richard Smith, he's not the only shot blocker on this team. Calvin Brown is there as well, but Richard Smith with the first one tonight. And those long arms that he has at 6'9" might have at least like a 7-foot wingspan.
I mean, I'll tell you what, you know those 50-50 raffles where they do wingspans? I like to use Richard Smith every single time. Jabby with the first make of the free throw there to make a 3-2 lead for California, first lead of the ball game.
And Jabby, the last time that we covered the Vulcans last Wednesday, he had a pedestrian day. He had a lot of assists, a lot of rebounds, but well below his season average for points.
Splits the free throws, but rebounded by Sapp. Now Sapp looking around here. Guarded by Davis. He'll pull back and give it to Jabby. He will reset the offense here with just under 17 minutes in this first half. Calvin Brown hands it back to Sapp at the point. Now Sapp working around, guarded by Stredanovic. Sapp works around Stredanovic on the baseline, looking for someone, gives it back out to Cook. Cook almost stolen away by Cameron Taylor, over to Calvin Brown. Brown puts on the moves, puts up a shot, and good. Calvin Brown with 4 points to kick it off here for the Vulcans. So now Seton Hill takes it back here. California got up to a 5-0 lead in January, but then Seton Hill quickly erased a lot of big runs in that game. As Davis hands off to Taylor. Taylor on the baseline, works around, fires it over, and gets it back to Windsor. Windsor, no good. Rebounded, almost got tipped in by Kaysen, but Jabby will take it back. It's a rare miss for David Windsor against the Vulcans. Maybe that was in January. That one would have gone. Calvin Brown with a spin move and a dunk. Hello and good morning.
And that's 6 early points for Calvin Brown. Ball went a little behind, so a little bit of stoppage of play right now. 16:03 to go, and California up to a 7-2 lead. And Calvin Brown, what a dunk from him. He's kind of reminded me of Paul Millsap of the Atlanta Hawks, my hometown Atlanta Hawks.
First place Atlanta Hawks.
First place. Very rare I say that. He can stretch out the floor, he can go in, and he plays very good defense. Very vital to this team tonight.
Windsor dancing around, looking for someone, guarded by Calvin Brown. Fires it to a wide open Cameron Taylor. You can't leave him open, but he misses the shot, and he goes right to Noah Davis. Right place, right time.
Yeah, Richard Smith, even with his long arms, the rebound was just a little too strong off the basket and went away from him.
Now Windsor hands it off back to Taylor. Inside to Davis. Davis, jumper. In and out. Tough luck there for the sophomore, and Calvin Brown gets the rebound.
And Noah Davis there tried to do a move that my favorite Hawk does, Kyle Korver, catch and shoot opportunity.
Oh, Jabby putting on some nice moves there. Tried to dish it back out to Calvin Brown, but wasn't ready. We're going to have our first media timeout here. 15-16 left here in the first half. 7-2 California.
And it looks like Jakubik is going to be coming into the game for the Vulcans after this media timeout. We'll see who comes in for. But Matt, we'll look at the team leaders for California, and it's been this way basically the last few months of the season. Khalil Jabby and Richard Smith, 2 transfers coming in and immediately taking over this team and rebounding, assists, and scoring. And even right behind Jabby in scoring is Richard Smith at 11.9 a game. Those are the 2 most important players to this team. Richard Smith has not scored yet, but he had a big block. Khalil Jabby has 1 point and a couple steals and really controlling the court well, except with that turnover just in that last play. Calvin Brown, another transfer. 6 of the 7 points, a big dunk, a couple big rebounds, and great on the defensive end as well. It's these transfers coming in, and I know you can make the argument that it's tough for them, but I think next year's their year. And then looking at Seton Hill, another very young team. David Windsor leading scorer on their team. Spencer Kaysen, the young freshman, about 7 rebounds a game. Stretanovic, although he's young, 27 steals on the season as well.
And Stretanovic is a transfer from Wayne State, not the Wayne State, Michigan and Detroit, actually from Nebraska, but now it's actually 2 Eastern Europeans on Seton Hill's team. The other one, Nebojsa Stanojevic, who's still on the bench, but we see a lot of him. And the Vulcans usually struggle with the 7-foot sophomore.
Yeah, last year when Stanojevic came into the game, it was first we had to learn how to pronounce his name, as you got a block there from Smith, and then secondly we had to figure out what kind of game he was, and he's definitely a rim protector. Smith
there with the block on Noah Davis, very impressive block, and he's got 2 already. Cook hands it off to Jabby and over to Richard Smith at the point, inside to Jake. Now over to Drew Cook. Cook thought about it, and he falls, but they're going to call a foul there on Spencer Kaysen.
I don't think that was Kaysen. That was actually Cameron Taylor on the foul. 5 instead of 2.
It's the hair.
Yeah, the hair looks alike on that one, and even David Windsor has the same kind of haircut, a little bit of a buzz style. But that's the second team foul for Seton Hill. They only have 2 points as well.
Jackie Beck sniped from the point, no good. Rebounded by Noah Davis.
And his 3-point stroke, ever since that high ankle sprain, has just disappeared for Jackie Beck this year. He needs to find it if California's going to have any success late in the season.
Taylor, side to Stretanovic, trying to direct traffic. Oh, fakes pass, now gets it out to Davis. Davis works inside, puts up a right-hand shot, no good, rebounded by Jackie Beck. Jackie Beck will take it back here and hands it off to Jabby, inside to Richard Smith. Battle of 21s, Richard Smith on the baseline, draws the foul on Noah Davis.
And that's Davis's second foul, so you're probably going to see him check out in a moment or two. And we are going to see someone check in for Seton Hill. Looks like that's Tyler Bowling, a freshman from Hamilton, Ohio.
And Tyler Bowling's really come along late for Seton Hill. We didn't see him at all in January, so they're starting to really like this freshman here. And we're going to see Nebojsa Stanojevic check in for the first time today, so it'll be interesting to see that matchup you'll have with Tony Richardson, who's also checking the game for Richard Smith, and also Calvin Brown.
And Spencer Kaysen was the one to exit for Seton Hill in favor of Stanojevic. Now, Calvin Brown and Stanojevic actually look about the same height, so Calvin Brown may be a little bit taller than the 6'9" we have him listed at.
Great pass, Drew Cook from the corner and buries it. There's a 3 for California. First 3 since IUP in PSAC play.
Yeah, and that's quite a while. They went a very long time without hitting a 3. And actually, you know what? No. I think they actually made 1 or 2 against Clarion on that Saturday game. I think Dombrowski came in and made a 3.
That's right. Here's Windsor trying to get, draws a foul there on Khalil Jabby. But Jabby set up that pass and found Cook wide open. Seton Hill was caught napping.
And that is Jabby's first foul, team second. Seton Hill with 3 team fouls, 13:52 to go in the first half.
Taylor will inbound for the Griffins, hands it off to Windsor. And he'll direct traffic here. Inside the Bowling. Hands it back out to Windsor. Inside, back to Bowling. Puts a spin on Richardson, hands it to Taylor. Taylor, long 2. No good. Rebounded by Bowling. Bowling double teamed, trying to get something going. Finally puts up a shot. That one's no good. Rebounded by Richardson.
And it's been very good defense so far from California, forcing some bad shots by Seton Hill and giving California an early 8-point lead at 10-2.
Calvin Brown over to Jackie Beck. Now he goes inside Calvin Brown, working on Stanojevic. See what he does. Brown throws him off, tries to spin around and puts up a shot and puts it over Stanojevic. So Calvin Brown's dominated both of the 2 big men for Seton Hill.
That was a very nice move down low for Calvin Brown, showing I'm just not a back to the basket kind of guy. I can spin around and face you up as well and put in the easy layup.
12-0 run for the Vulcans here after Seton Hill got the first 2 points. Taylor to Windsor. Windsor, he's got to get going. Windsor, now double team. Now puts up a fadeaway jumper and good. That's a couple of shots he's made back in January. He put that fading away over Tony Richardson.
Yeah, and if David Windsor does not go, the Seton Hill Griffins do not go. You need him to have a big night if you're going to come back.
Drew Cook, inside to Jackie Beck. Jackie Beck streaking, has the ball stolen away from him, but it'll be out on Stretanovic.
And we're going to see Armand Marks check in for the Vulcans. It's his penultimate home game in his senior career, coming in for Drew Cook. I expect him to have a very impactful night tonight for the Vulcans.
Now he's going to line up there in the left corner, and no one's guarding him. But they'll give it to Richardson. Richardson puts up a shot, no good, rebounded by Stretanovic.
That was a good look by Richardson, just a little bit too strong off the backboard, put up a little bit too high on the box, and try and get it to fall in.
Stanievic gets the ball stolen away. Here comes Jabby. It's be the smallest man against the biggest man, and he'll pull off and give Jabby the 2 points. 14-4 California.
That's 3 for Jabby now.
Quick transition for Seton Hill as Taylor will just pull back and hand it off to Naboza. Now out to Shredanovic. He'll work around Travis Givens to Bowling. Now out to Windsor. Windsor guarded by Jabby. Trying to put on some moves. Pulls back over Jabby and makes it. Now David Windsor starting to heat up.
And there's nothing you can do about that little bit a ball fake move, stepping back in between the legs, and a nice fadeaway shot. You have to give credit to David Windsor for that, having that move in his arsenal against a pretty decent defender in Khalil Jabby.
Marks over to Brown and then back out to Jabby. Jabby gives it off to Marks, now back to Jabby over to Jake. Now to Richardson, out to Jackie Beck. Marks will pass around, give it to Jabby, taking their time, trying to get the best shot possible. Jackie Beck to Richardson. He loses the ball, stripped out by Taylor. Windsor has the ball stripped out from that. It's Calvin Brown. Brown keeps it alive to Richardson. What a play.
And a smart move by Brown, realizing I could have had a backcourt violation if I stepped any further.
Jackie Beck from the corner, no good, and almost a collision there by Windsor and Taylor. Windsor will take it himself, works on Marks, puts up the shot and one.
And that foul's going to go on Marks, but the shot that's going to come after it will have to wait because we're at our second media timeout.
Second media timeout of this half. California got out to a big lead, but now Seton Hill starting to close back in. 11:05 left. California 14, Seton Hill 8.
With 18 institutions, my conference is the largest league across all NCAA classifications. With nearly 7,000 student athletes competing in 23 championships, my conference sponsors the most championships in Division II. With a 78% academic success rate, my conference graduates student athletes well above the national average. We compete with passion. We take pride in our efforts in the arena and in the classroom. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Passion, pride, Pennsylvania.
We have so much to celebrate in Division II, but we're especially proud of our commitment to make a wish.
Division II athletes have led a 10-year initiative to raise funds and help grant wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions.
Nearly $3 million have been raised, and hundreds of children's wishes have been granted. We play hard, we work hard, and we support others in need. Why? It's simple.
Because we care.
Welcome back to the Convocation Center here in the first half. California leads the way so far, 14-8 over Seton Hill, but David Windsor is really starting to heat up, and he's going to go to the line to try to complete a three-point play.
Yeah, Seton Hill, they're shooting only 30.8% in this game, but David Windsor himself shooting 75%. He has led this comeback with 6 of the 8 points, all 6 straight in this run for Seton Hill.
And that's basically what happened in January. He just led the way. He didn't need a lot of help around him. He did it himself. He completes the three-point play to make it a 5-point lead for the Vulcans. Jackie Beck will take it across court here. Work around, put some moves on there. Shredanovic and hands it off to Marks. Now out to Cook. For Jackie Beck. Out to Cook and now over to Marks. Marks taking his time. Seton Hill's defense starting to tighten in more. Jackie Beck has it. Hands it off to Cook. 8 on the shot clock. Cook fires it around to Richard Smith. Now out to Marks. Marks to Jackie Beck in the corner. Good. Jackie Beck, a big shot right there. A 3-ball for Jake.
And that's first one in quite a while that we have at least seen. He needs to get that going. If he does, California is that much more lethal on the offensive end.
How about the passing on this one as we see Matt Klein check in from the freshman from Central Valley High School. And here's Windsor. No good. Rebounded by Richard Smith. Almost a big fight for it.
Yeah, and if Windsor made that play, then you know he was going to have another hot night. I think that was a little bit of a heat check for him.
Drew Cook. Working around, hands it over to Marks. Marks out to Cook to Jackie Beck. Now Cook works inside Jackie Beck. Passing really sharp so far for California. As they work it around the world. Here's Richardson to Cook. Cook for 3. No good. Rebounded by Windsor. Outstretched Richard Smith on that one there.
The only problem I saw there on the passing for California is they were not able to get inside and let Richardson or Richard Smith work. They kept having to go around the perimeter and settle for a long three.
Bowling inside to Sredanovic, puts on a spin move, no good. Rebounded by Marks. That was a nice look.
Yeah, nice move. It's just, if you're not named David Windsor, you're not getting the buckets to fall right now.
Cook at the point, hands it off to Marks here. Back out to Cook. A lot of these long possessions. Smith over to Marks. Now that Jackie Beck, who's wide open, he works inside his end, gets blocked away by Taylor, the other number 5 on the court, and rebounded by Bowling. Now out to Windsor. Here he comes. Windsor, what's he going to do? Splits the defense, doesn't get it to go. And I'll tell you what, I almost fell out of my chair if he would have made that. Marks comes right back, tries to get it to Richardson, no good. Interesting choice there, but now Seton Hill takes it back.
Yeah, I don't know why he passed there.
Windsor was wide open, no one covering him, and now Seton Hill's hit double digits.
And Windsor has 9 himself. And back to that Almond Marks play. I don't know why he passed it there. I know he's a very intelligent man, had a 4.0 GPA last semester with 18 credits. And that's very good for him, but there, I think he just probably could have gone up to the basket himself, maybe even draw the foul if he can't make the basket.
Marks hands it around the Cook, over Jackie Beck. Cook works inside, hits it back out to Jackie Beck. Jackie Beck for 3, no good, rebounded by Windsor, it was clean. And Windsor hands it off to Damian. No, puts on the moves. Now works inside, guarded by Jake, and draws the foul. That was a great play set up there by Sredanovic.
And that foul gonna go on Jackie Beck. That will be his first. That's the team 4th now. And the Seton Hill Griffins only have 3. We have 8:09 left, about 10 seconds until our next media stoppage.
We're gonna see Sapp and Javi check in for Marks and Richardson. Taylor will inbound. Out to Noah Davis. Davis out to Cameron Taylor, who's still scoreless. These two teams, last time these two teams met at the Convocation Center, Seton Hill came out on top, but then they had that great duel last year in Greensburg where California overcame a 20-point deficit in the second half. Now, Taylor, big shot, over defenders, no good, rebounded by Bowling, but he gets stripped out. Taylor and Marks fighting for it, big wrestling match, Sapp comes away with it.
And that was a great play there by the Vulcans, swarming around the ball, and whoever had the ball, make sure you can get that rebound.
Javi hands it off to Cook after some weird pass. Here's Marks from the corner. In and out, no good, rebounded by Taylor.
And when we were watching shoot-around, Marks was talking to us a little bit before shoot-around. He was hitting those shots.
Yes.
And he said, I was doing good here, but I got to do it in the game. 0 for 1 so far, but I would definitely expect him to get that shot going as the night progresses.
He has so many good looks. There's Bowling can't corral it, rebounded by Daniel Sapp. Now, here comes Javi. Looks around. Now the Cook over to Richard Smith, double team. Fires it cross court right to Noah Davis. That was set up by the double team.
And Javi was open right at the top of the key.
Cameron Taylor puts the moves on, can't get the shot to fall. Rebounded by Klein. It goes out of bounds, and a foul on Richard Smith.
I actually think this foul might be going on Drew Cook instead.
I think you're right.
We'll get clarification in a second. It is Cook. Calvin Brown's going to check into the game when we get back from the media time. We'll look at the PSAC West standings right now. Seton Hill down at the bottom. They have been eliminated. They cannot make the PSAC playoffs. There's no mathematical way that they could. Clarion, they're hanging on there.
That could end tonight. They're playing Edinboro.
That could end tonight. And you know what? I actually did not load that page up for the stats. California, they're holding on to that 6th spot. And right now, IUP and Slippery Rock are playing. And that's huge for that 4th or 3rd spot. IUP up 11-6 on Slippery Rock at the KCAC. I know that was a huge game for both of these schools. It's such a big rivalry in basketball in the PSAC.
Slippery Rock brought 2 fan buses to the KCAC. It was also IUP's whiteout, pack the KCAC, whatever they like to do up there. And the Erie School's leading the way. Gannon actually has a non-conference game tonight. And then Mercyhurst, they're playing UPJ. That game was going to be delayed a little bit because of the women's game that was delayed earlier.
Yeah, and because of the inclement weather that came through. And right now, if playoffs started today, California would be in. I'm going to try and quickly load up the Clarion Edinboro stats and see what the score is for this game.
I mean, the last time those teams faced, Edinboro opened a can on them, and it got very ugly.
Yeah, it was very bad. Right now, it's 16-11 Clarion with 11:23 left. If Edinboro were to lose, that would definitely help the prospects of California.
Yeah, and Edinburgh got that big win over the weekend. An unbelievable contest against IUP where Jeremy Jeffers came back down 3, fired a last-second prayer, made it, and then Edinburgh got out to a 2-point lead, missed free throws, and Jeffers missed at the buzzer. One of the biggest recent wins for Edinburgh in history. Matt Klein's going to go to the line here, 70.6%, but he's only averaging 1 point, and he gets a friendly bounce on that one. Klein did not play at all in January, and as mentioned before, a freshman from Central Valley, same graduating class as Sierra Barrett.
Yeah, so I wonder if they know each other. Sierra Barrett, of course, the dynamic freshman for the women's team here at California.
Klein, a natural, has already got 2 points, which already is ahead of his season average. So Seton Hill's starting to integrate more players into their starting lineup.
However, like you said before, it's the same in this game. Only 3 players for the Griffins have scored up until this point with 6:43 left.
It's crazy to think that Taylor and Noah Davis are not one of them. Cook, it was a jabby. Somebody fell. That was Noah Davis. Here's Sapp. Sapp works inside, takes a step, puts up a shot, air ball, no good, out of bounds, California basketball.
And on that shot for Sapp, as a quick note, the shot clock will not reset because it did not hit rim. That shot for Sapp, he did a little bit of Euro step and then thought about passing it and just said, I'll take the shot because there's nowhere to go. He was just too far off balance to take that shot and he missed everything.
Seton Hill starting to go on a little run themselves as they cut the lead to 4 for the Vulcans.
You got 4 to shoot.
Jabby, he's got to make something happen. He loses the ball, out of bounds, Seton Hill basketball.
And that was a blown play. Shot clock running down. Jabby was trying to go penetrate into the paint, try and get to the hole, but was not able to, just going around a much taller defender. Could not use his size difference to go under him into the basket.
Taylor will inbounds as California has gone cold, but now they're doing a more press defense now. Here comes Taylor, double teamed. Can't find anyone. Now he gets it out the Kaysen finally, out to Klein. Klein back out to Kaysen. First action we've seen Kaysen since the opening tip-off. Here's Cameron Taylor. Guarded by Jabby, gives it off to Davis. Davis looking for his first 2 points and gets it right there. So Seton Hill now with a big run, down by 2.
Yeah, this game started off California in firm control, about 14-2. Since then, it's been a 13-3 run for Seton Hill, much like what we saw with the women's game. California doing the same thing.
No one was there. I don't know who that pass was going to, but another turnover for California.
And this is what's killing the momentum right now. 5:39 to go. California, you need to get an offensive stretch going again for you. Nobody in this game for California has more than 3 points except for Calvin Brown. And Seton Hill's really started to cue in on him and try and shut him down.
Here's Kaysen. Hands it off to Windsor. Windsor, 3-ball. No good. Rebounded by Richard Smith and draws a foul.
And that's a big foul. That's only the 4th team foul on Seton Hill, though.
It's going to be on Kaysen. That will be his first. And the team 4th for Seton Hill. Cook will inbound here for California as we're going to see Sredanovic look to check in at the next stoppage for Seton Hill. Cook hands it off to Sapp. Now over to Jabby. And he'll set the offense as he walks. Jabby over to Cook. Inside to Calvin Brown. Brown working the baseline. And draws another foul on Kaysen. That's 2 in a row.
Yeah, in Kaysen, they're going to call him for trying to force him out of bounds, trying to levy his body into Brown. So Kaysen may see him check out soon. Doesn't look like he will. Actually, Cameron Taylor's going to go out for Sredanovic.
Taylor's still shut out in this game. Looks like we're going to see Bowling check in next stoppage for seniors. Jabby for their inbounds. Looking for an open lane. Here's Calvin Brown. Now out to Sapp. To Cook. Now over to Jabby. Jabby, Richard Smith. Unfamiliar territory for Smith. Guarding top of the key. Jabby.
Smith can shoot the 3, but it's not normal for him. He's not done it in basically the last 2 or 3 months or so of the season.
Smith over to Jabby. Jabby hands inside to Brown. Brown guarded by Casey. Brown puts up a shot and good. That's double digits for the transfer.
And Calvin Brown at that time just using his strength, his weight, and his height to bully his way into the basket.
Quick transition. Here's Windsor. Let's see what he does. Shot tip, no good. Rebounded by Richard Smith. Here comes Jabby. Vulcan speeding this up. Jabby, long 2. Buries it. Khalil Jabby with 5 points now.
That's 5 for Jabby. Also on the other side, Richard Smith has 4 rebounds. Even though he's not tallied a score yet, he's a second-half player. He can really light it up later in this game.
Here's Kaysen. Fires around to Davis. Davis puts some moves, puts up a shot, no good. Almost tipped in, no good. Big scrum for the rebound. There's going to be a foul called, I think, on Calvin Brown.
And it looks like it'll be on Brown. He was tripped up, and he just kind of flung his arms into the guy he was behind. That'll be Brown's first, and he's gotten into a lot of foul trouble recently, and that's the way to keep Calvin Brown in this, or out of this game. Get him in foul trouble. Attack him if you're Seton Hill. We're going to see Kaysen check out for Sredonovich.
But it's good, though, for the Vulcans that there's only 4:02 left here in the first half. That was his first foul. Normally, in that UPJ game, he had 2 within the first 10 minutes. Sredonovich, long outlet pass to Matt Klein. Back out to Sredonovich. Will come back. He'll reset the offense here. Sredonovich hands it off to Bowling. Now inside to Damian. Oh, he loses the ball. Tipped away, out of bounds. It'll be Seton Hill ball. And we will have our final media timeout of the first half. 21-15 California Vulcans. And stay tuned for the rest of the first half. It should be a good one between these two local rivals here on CUTV.
NCAA Division II has much to cheer about, as nearly 100,000 student athletes compete with passion and pride. And I'm pleased to share the best news of all. Student athletes are outperforming the rest of the D2 student body in graduation rates. Just another reason why you'll hear us say with pride, I chose Division II. Learn more at d2sa.org.
With 18 institutions, my conference is the largest league across all NCAA classifications. With nearly 7,000 student athletes competing in 23 championships, my conference sponsors the most championships in Division II. With a 78% academic success rate, my conference graduates student athletes well above the national average. We compete with passion. We take pride in our efforts in the arena and in the classroom. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Passion, pride, Pennsylvania.
And we're back here at the Convocation Center with 3:49 remaining. The California Vulcans with a 6-point lead over Seton Hill. Seton Hill closed in within 2, but California's kind of stretched it back out.
Yeah, California, like I said, they have to get on that offensive run. They're trying to. Calvin Brown, the big catalyst. You'd like to see somebody else, though, come into this game and start scoring. Both of these teams only have 4 players on the scorebook on either side.
Taylor looking for somebody to get it out to. Finally gets out to Matt Klein. And out to Sredonovich. Over to Matt Klein. Klein worked on by Sapp. The battle of the 2 freshmen. Sapp, almost getting, throws it over to Sredonovich. Almost stolen away by Javi. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Seton Hill, they got to get something off here. 5. Sredonovich guarded by Javi. 3, 2, and 1. He gets the shot off and makes it. Very clutch shot by Damian.
And that's 4 for him now. The second leading scorer behind David Windsor, who is not out on the court right now for Seton Hill.
You're California, this is where you got to capitalize without him on the floor. Sapp out to Cook to Javi. Back to Cook, fires it over to Sapp. Inside, stolen away by Sredonovich. He makes it happen on offense and there on defense. Here is Taylor. Taylor over to Bowling. Bowling, guarded by Brown. Puts up a shot, blocked away by Brown. Brown grabs the rebound, now he's double teamed. Throws it off of Klein, but somehow gets to Javi.
That was a wild pass that happened to work.
Javi almost put a spin move on Sredonovich. He's going to get called for a foul. He doesn't like that at all.
Yeah, Sredonovich is just going to try and plead, incidental contact on that one. But easy call there, I think, for me. That's 6 now for both teams. So figuratively, both teams are in the bonus now. Jakubik coming in for Sapp.
Cook will inbound. We're going to see Nebojsa Stanojevic check back in the game as well for Matt Klein. Cook will inbound here. We have 2:49 left here in the first half. 4-point lead for the Vulcans. Javi will set the offense here. No one really pressing on Javi. Hands it off to Cook. Now over to Jakubik. Out to Cook. Cook for 3. No good. Rebounded by Nebojsa Stanojevic. Damian will take it back. Over to Stanojevic. Now out to Cameron Taylor. Taylor, guarded by Smith, goes to the basket. For his super, swatted away there by Richard Smith. He said no.
That's, I think, like the second or third block tonight for Smith in this one.
I think he's got 3. Javi out to Cook. Back to Javi. Over to Jackiebeck. Passing around the points. Cook now gets it out to Javi. Javi puts some moves and draws a foul there on Zach Herman, who's making his first appearance of the game.
And now Javi going to go back to the line. He's 1 of 2 today. It's a 1-and-1 situation here. 5 points in the contest so far.
Javi doing a good job drawing fouls in this game. And in that January matchup, Zach Herman, a local product for Seton Hill out of Greensburg Central Catholic High School, and he had 6 points in that game. Javi with his first shot, makes it. So it'll be 22-17 California here. 2:04 left in the first half, and for Javi, he's got 6, so he's starting to creep his way up the scoring sheet.
And he's the leading scorer for California, so we expect him to do that. Just about 13 points a game. He's about halfway to his season average.
Javi makes them both. So Seton Hill now, Cameron Taylor will inbound, hand it off to Sredanovic as California will press. Damian works around the defense, hands it off to Bowling, now out to Herman. Now over to Cameron Taylor. Taylor putting on some moves. Sets back, hands it off to Stanojevic. Out to Sredanovic. Inside Ned Boza, Stanojevic was wide open and puts it in. And with his 7-foot height, he just put the left hand in and it was good.
And it was contested too, and there was not a lot Richard Smith could do there. The height difference not favoring Smith for once this season.
Also a good play there by his other Eastern European on the lineup there, setting them up. Jackiebeck hands it off to Javi. Now off to Cook. Cook over to Javi as they go around the points once more. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Javi out to Cook. Inside to Smith. Now out to Javi. Javi for 3. In and out, rebounded, slapped around by Zach Herman.
And Calvin Brown is trying to go in for the offensive rebound as we have 1:05 left.
And now Seton Hill going to continue cutting the lead. Herman almost passed, stolen away there by Drew Cook, but it'll go out of bounds and Seton Hill will have the ball.
And it's going to be a Seton Hill timeout. Under a minute to go, 57.9 seconds, 23-19 to score. California has led this entire way, but Seton Hill has definitely clawed their way back in this one. Well, quickly,
Seton Hill had a 2-0 lead to start out the game.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Matt.
But it's been a while. It's been a while. I know what you mean, though.
We'll quickly update some of the other scores in the PSAC West. IUP leading Slippery Rock, 17-12, just under 8 to go. And then Clarion up 27-25 on Edinburgh with 4:19 left in the first half.
Yeah, I expect a lot out of offense out of those two teams. But for Slippery Rock, not a very good road team. Not a very good road team. They lost on the road to UPJ, lost on the road to Mercers, lost on the road to Gannon.
And almost lost on the road here.
That's right. Yeah, they're very close to coming here and lost. That would have been the first time in 4 years that happened. So we're going to see Marks, Javi, Jackiebeck, Brown, and Cook. For Seton Hill, we're going to see Herman, Bowling, Stanojevic, Taylor, and David Windsor will be back in the game.
And David Windsor, 9 points already, over halfway to his season per game average of 16.2.
Taylor will hand it back out to Windsor, and he will wait here, take his time. Now he'll start. Windsor gives it over to Taylor. Taylor works inside to Stanojevic. He almost gets it poked out by Brown. He recovers it. Hands it out to Windsor. 8 on the shot clock. Windsor works on Javi. Puts some moves on. Puts a shot. No good. Rebounded by Stanojevic. He loses the ball, gets it back, and puts it back in. It's a 2-point game.
And California, though, with Seton Hill getting that extra possession, can hold for the final possession. California, though, it has been bugging them all year. They have not come up clutch when the final seconds of a half have come up. They need to find a way, extend your lead before halftime.
Jackiebeck hands off to Javi with 15 seconds. Out to Jackiebeck. Now we have 10. To Cook to Javi. Javi taking his time. 5 seconds. Here's Jackiebeck. Jackiebeck to Javi. Javi, 1 second. He's got to get it off. Loses the ball. Foul on Seton Hill.
And the Seton Hill bench does not like the call. Let's see who this foul goes on.
Ron Herman, that'll be his second.
So that's going to send Javi to the line for a 1-and-1 with literally 0.1 second left in the half. That is a worst possible equation there for Seton Hill to happen at the end of this half. That could give the Vulcans at least a 3-point lead if Javi makes the first.
See what Javi does here. Got another clutch situation. Javi misses it. Half's over.
Actually, no, they're calling this a shooting foul. Okay, so that changes everything. So Jabby at least could make this a 3-point game if he'd make this one. I did not realize they were calling this a shooting foul.
But Jabby still missed the first one there. Jabby once more makes that one to make it a 3-point game. All Seton Hill can do is touch it. The half is here, and California leads by 3.
Yeah, California, they've seemed to really get stymied by the Seton Hill defense. They have to find a way to go inside and go to the hoop. They've been forced to take a lot of long perimeter shots and just have not been able to do it yet.
Very good game at hand here, and we got to play another 20 minutes of it. California leads Seton Hill 24-21 at halftime. Stay tuned for the second half here on CUTV.
With 18 institutions, my conference is the largest league across all NCAA classifications. With nearly 7,000 student athletes competing in 23 championships, my conference sponsors the most championships in Division II. With a 78% academic success rate, my conference graduates student athletes well above the national average. We compete with passion. We take pride in our efforts in the arena and in the classroom. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Passion, pride, Pennsylvania.
We have so much to celebrate in Division II, but we're especially proud of our commitment to Make-A-Wish.
Division II student athletes have led a 10-year initiative to raise funds and help grant wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions.
Nearly $3 million have been raised, and hundreds of children's wishes have been granted. We play hard, we work hard, and we support others in need. Why? It's simple.
Because we care.
And welcome back to the Convocation Centers. We're getting ready to start the second half between the Seton Hill Griffins and the California Vulcans. The Vulcans lead by 3. My name is Matt Hagee. Alongside of me is Zach Prosba. And Zach, we're going to see the halftime stats right here in a few seconds. But what stat for you stands out the most?
I think the stat that stands out the most, looking at them, the fact that California's made a couple three-pointers. That's what's giving them this 3-point lead. They've hit the shots from distance that Seton Hill's not been able to, and it's helped them maintain a lead for most of this game. However, rebounding, you're going up against, if you're California, one of the worst rebounding teams in the PSAC, and you're only out rebounding them by 1 in the first half. That's an alarming stat. Seton Hill's getting a lot of offensive rebounds, and California is not, and that needs to change in the second half if California wants to continue to hold on to this lead and maybe even grow it as the game goes on.
And the leading scorers for both teams, David Windsor with 9 points. I feel like he got that all in like one stretch. And Calvin Brown's the only player between both teams in double digits right now with 10 points. Khalil Jabby also has 8. It's not really a balanced attack for California. Only 4 players that have played in this game have scored.
And that's the same for Seton Hill, except they have one more. They have 5 players that have scored. So second half is when the offense really starts to open up for both teams. I would expect that here today, but the way that both defenses have been playing, I wouldn't be also surprised if we maintained, a 25, 30-point pace in the second half.
We are underway here as the Vulcans will start with the ball. Cook fakes out, gives it over to Sapp, and there's going to be a foul away from the ball.
And not sure.
Oh, no, it's going to be...
They're calling this an offensive foul. I think they're saying that Sapp might have stepped out of bounds, or... Because I don't think it was a foul.
No, it wasn't.
That's an interesting play to start off this half.
Very inauspicious start for the Vulcans here. Windsor will start. He's double teamed. Hands it off to Davis. Inside, wide open was Kaysen. He's got his first 2 points. It's a 1-point game.
That was a nice play there, just finding the open Kaysen, who he had traffic around him, just jumping so high, it gives him the easy layup. His head was right at the rim, basically.
Richard Smith hands it off to Cook. Cook out to Jabby. Cook over to Sapp. Sapp to Brown. Brown now to Cook, over to Jabby. Passing around the Sapp inside to Richard Smith. Smith, almost had it stolen away. It's stolen away. And now it'll be out on Smith as Kaysen grabbed it and threw the basketball off his leg.
And that was a smart play because Kaysen was already actually out of bounds, but he was in the air, so he had the wherewithal to just throw it off of Smith, and Smith could have had nothing to do with it because if he caught it, he was out of bounds anyways.
Now Seton Hill has a chance here to take their first lead since they're up 2-0 to start off the game. Here's Davis. Off to Stredanovic. Now, almost a Smith's foot there. Gets it back. Hands off to Davis. Davis for three. And good. There's Seton Hill's first lead since the 2-0 lead they had early in their first three of the game.
It's Smith, or actually I think that was Brown who was going out to defend it. Very lucky he didn't get a foul call on him because his hand made contact with the shooting arm of Noah Davis.
And Seton Hill capitalized on a 4-point play back in January, but that's been called a lot on California this season. Brown out to Javi. Javi to Cook. Cook flips it to Brown. Brown fires it over to Javi. Now out to Sapp. Sapp, long two. That one's good. Daniel Sapp with his first 2 points of the game.
And our player to watch finally got on the scoreboard. He did have those 3 rebounds in the first half.
Quick transition. Windsor wanted Noah Davis, but Davis could not corral it and taken back by California. Here's Sapp. Sapp three. No good. Rebounded by Richard Smith. Smith spins around Davis, puts up a shot and good. There's Richard Smith's first 2 points of the game.
So 2 Vulcans that were not on the scoreboard in the first half getting involved in the second half. That's what you want to see if you're the Vulcans, but also having those first half players continue to contribute.
Windsor draws the foul here. It's like it is going to be on Cook.
That's his second, and that's the first team foul of the second half.
17:42 as we're just underway here in the second half. 2-point lead for the Vulcans. Taylor will inbound to Windsor. Windsor taking his time, working around. Now puts the moves on. Goes inside, loses the ball, stolen away by Calvin Brown.
And Khalil Jabi on that play against Windsor, it looked like he might have had a horse collar grab on there too.
Jabi does not get the ball to roll in. Rebound Richard Smith. He tries to go for the dunk, he'll just put the layup in instead and draw a foul.
And that's a huge play there for Smith. 4 straight points for the Vulcans. It's a 4-point lead now also for the Vulcans. And that foul's going to go on Kaysen. That's his third. And Kaysen has definitely not had the impact in this game that he did the first time at the McKenna Center. And Stanievich comes in for him.
So Smith will go to the line. He is shooting 62.1% from the free throw straight, but it's greatly improved since the start of the season. Misses that one. Rebounded by Calvin Brown, who is over top on Noah and Davis there. And Davis will get called for a foul.
And that's Davis's third. So now 2 players in foul trouble for the Griffins. Crazy foul because Brown was on top of Davis. I don't know how you call the foul on him, but I guess in that spin around he might have just grabbed him after it fell off of him.
Jabi looking to inbound. Can't find anyone. Gets it out to Cook, now out to Smith. Smith works inside, hands off to a wide open Khalil Jabi for 3. No good. Smith slaps it out right to Daniel Sapp.
And that's a huge play. Richard Smith has come to play in the second half, and I mentioned before, he's definitely a second half player.
Here's Smith, double team, hands it off to Sapp. Inside to Calvin Brown. Spin moves. It's slapped away there by Stanievich. He's going to get called for a foul.
And when Brown got that pass, I think he was surprised. My goodness, I have a lot of room here to work with. I think he shocked himself, really. So it was a messed up play there, but Brown going to be able to go to the line where he's 60.6% on the year.
Brown, the transfer from Cheney's from Bensalem, just north of the city of Philadelphia. Brown put it up, and good.
Calvin Brown now with 11 points. That has to be near his season high with the Vulcans. He's not gotten to double figures a lot. A very good offensive performance for him today and keeping the fouls down so far.
Now Brown go for 2. He leads all scorers so far here and gets the second one to roll in. So now after California lost the lead, they've gone on an 8-0 run here to take a 6-point lead. Windsor fires it over to Herman. Now to Taylor. Taylor looking to get on the score sheet and does emphatically with a 3.
And the second leading scorer for the Griffins finally on the board. He was scoreless in the first half, and that was key to getting California this lead.
Sapp's going to get called for a travel here, so now suddenly Seton Hill trying to claw back in here, forcing a turnover.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the way it goes tonight in this second half. California's going to get a lead. It looks like they're going to be extending it, but then Seton Hill's going to claw their way back.
Kind of like UPJ did. Now here's Herman. It's over to Stanievich. Out to Taylor. Taylor, hot hand, back to back.
And we're all tied up.
And suddenly, after getting shut out in the first half, Cameron Taylor has also come to play in the second half.
So now you have to worry about Taylor and David Windsor, who has not scored yet this half, but he's definitely the best player Seton Hill has.
Can't lead him wide open. Here's Jabi over to Cook, almost lost it. Cook double teamed. Over to Richard Smith, triple teamed. And he draws a foul. Looks like it's going to be on Herman. That's his third.
Yeah, so a lot of players now in foul trouble, a couple that get a lot of playing time as well. So Seton Hill might have to go to their bench and really start to find players that could contribute late in this game if you get into a lot of foul trouble.
Calvin Brown all the way out to Daniel Sapp. Out to Cook. To Brown. Now wide open Khalil Javi. He works inside. Goes to the basket. Blocked away by Taylor. Smith gets a rebound. Slams it home. Richard Smith with a big dunk.
That was a big play there. That's only the second dunk we've seen, and we usually see a lot more out of the Vulcans in a game.
Here's Taylor. Taylor again. No good.
That was
Rebounded
a check
by Richard Smith. Yes, it was. Javi. Now he works inside over Damian. No good. Rebounded Calvin Brown and tried to throw it out on Taylor, but he stepped on the line. First media timeout of this second half.
That's 15:34 to go. We'll see Tyler Bowling check into the game when we come back from the media timeout. But right now, coming out on the offensive end, it's been the Richard Smith show. 6 points, 8 rebounds now total in this game. He's been doing a very good job trying to extend this lead for California.
We make a quick mention right here. At halftime, one of the California students here, we're actually going to tease our YouTube page here, and tag with both of our families way out of CUTV's range. They think, oh, maybe it'd be a little trouble to see what we do here. But actually, we put all our stuff on our YouTube page here at CUTV Sports 1, and then also our News Center page at CUTV News Center. All the full news broadcasts go in there. So it's a great way to stay updated with what we do. We put all our games on here. We have a lot of great stuff on there from years past as well.
Yeah, not only our sports shoots, but our studio shows as well. Match play going to be starting up after spring break, after we get a couple more reinforcements in directing the show. So a lot of stuff goes on there. But back to that story you had during halftime, Matt.
Yeah, our good friend Cam was going for a $500 gift certificate to the bookstore and some other prizes as well. He had to make a layup, a free throw, a three-pointer, and then a half-court shot to do all that. He made the first three in decent time, but it was trouble getting that half-court shot. At the buzzer, he threw up a last-second heave, and it went in. Crowd went wild. It was great.
Yeah, that was the most wild I've honestly seen the crowd all year, except for the Mercyhurst game. They actually did really get up for that Mercyhurst game, and I would expect them to get up as this game continues to go on. A couple more plays are made, and Senior Day coming up this Saturday.
Quick passing here by Seton Hill as Sredanovic contains possession. Guarded by Javi. Now set pick up there by Bowling. Out to Herman, back inside to Taylor. Out to Herman. Seton Hill working around here. Herman. Herman backed off. Now 7 seconds shot clock. Taylor on the baseline. Taylor puts up a shot. What a move. He ties the game at 34.
And Richard Smith did everything he could on the defensive end except, just tackle the guy for making the shot.
Here is Jackie Beck. Over to Javi. Now out to Jackie Beck once more. Richard Smith, sweeps it away there from Damian. Here's Javi over to Jackie Beck. Javi over to Cook. Cook fakes out, gives it over to Calvin Brown. Brown out to Javi. Swatted out there by David Windsor. Still California ball, 8 seconds on the shot clock.
And Jackie Beck was wide open in the corner. He was probably going to try a three when he got that pass, catch and shoot. You got 14:32 remaining in the second half.
So California's going to have to get something quick here. Javi out on David Windsor.
And Windsor just kicked the ball away. So you have 8 to shoot if you're California. Actually, they're going to reset it to 15 because he kicked the ball away. Wow, that was a huge break. That was a big mistake there for David Windsor.
Wow, so now California can really set something here. Cook over to Jackie Beck, over to Richard Smith. Smith inside to Brown. Brown dunk, wide open. And here come the Vulcans once more, taking the lead right back.
And this is why I think this is the best offensive set California has, when you have Brown and Smith, as well as Cook, who's a good defensive specialist, Jackie Bick, the sharpshooter, and Javi, the facilitator. They all work so well together. They're the best 5 I think California has to put out on the court at any one time.
Now Windsor hands it off to Taylor. Taylor, what a half he is having. My goodness, this kid can't miss.
That's 10 now for Cameron Taylor. He takes the team lead.
Now here's California once more. Can't pull away again, just like kind of starting to shape up like the UPJ game last Wednesday. Jackie over to Brown. Brown fires over to wide open Cook. He'll take a three. No good. Brown slaps it in and one.
I actually could not tell that he actually put the basket in because I'm looking at our box and you couldn't see the net move. A very good play there by Calvin Brown. He now has 16 points.
Wow.
That has to be a season high for him, without a doubt.
I mean, he's improved so much since the Seton Hill game. And over winter break, we're going to see Matt Klein check in for Zach Herman for Seton Hill. Over winter break, I knew that California got Calvin Brown, but I didn't know how much he was going to be used. And the first time I saw him against Seton Hill, I was like, okay, he's decent. He could be nice, but he's really come on strong here once he got under the system. And completes a three-point play. 17 points for Calvin Brown, 3-point lead for California.
He also has 5 rebounds, so start piling up the rebounds, maybe talking about a double-double with him. Richard Smith also nearing that. He had 6 and 8 at the last check.
Windsor hands it off to Taylor. Now out to Klein. Back to Taylor. He'll pull back. Now double team hands it off to Stredanovic. Stredanovic now puts on the moves. Goes to the basket. Fadeaway jumper. No good. Rebounded. Out of bounds. It'll be Seton Hill ball.
And you have 13:03 left in the game. Of course, unless this goes to overtime. But right now, California, they're up by 3. You still want to try to see them extend the lead. And you have Armand Marks coming in for Drew Cook.
So Stredanovic here will inbounds for Seton Hill. 13:03 left here in the second half.
I think California needs to start stringing some turnovers together as well. That would be very big for their defense. They've come up with some stops, just not a lot of turnovers tonight.
Oh, tried to go there, and Richard Smith, they went on a Richard Smith. I don't think he had a passing lane and just saw Smith right there throw it off of him.
Yeah, and Smith, with the quick reflexes, could have grabbed it, but just threw it off of his leg, his foot, it looked like, and just went quickly out of bounds.
Now Stredanovic gets it out to Taylor, out to Windsor. Windsor for 3. Tie game. Seton Hill will not go away. Here's Jabby over to Jackie. Now that's Windsor's first 3. He had about like 5 in the first half in January. Here's Calvin Brown drawing the foul. Smith forced to pass inside, and we'll see who they call it on.
This might go on Windsor.
And
it
is.
Will. That's his first. That one right there, it get the pass to Brown, and they just kind of dragged him down. They didn't want him to go up for the easy layup. They just dragged him down to the court.
And already 6 fouls for Seton Hill. California's already almost going to be in the bonus here. 12:46 left.
And we see Richardson checking in for Richard Smith.
Jabby. Almost picked off by Taylor, and it is by Windsor. And now Calvin Brown, out of frustration, is going to get called for a foul.
And I don't know if that was a frustration foul or more of I'm going to save my teammates from an easy breakaway layup opportunity.
And you only have 1, too, so you have some fouls to give.
Yeah, so now Seton Hill, instead of getting the easy score, they're going to take the ball from right at half court. It lets you set your defense up instead. That's a smart move, I think.
Not a bad foul. And that's his second. So not totally in foul trouble yet, but the way he's played, California can't afford to get him in foul trouble at all. It's Taylor over to Windsor. Windsor splits the fence, plows over Calvin Brown, and they're going to draw a foul on him. So now he enters foul trouble.
Yeah, now he has 3. You may see Richard Smith quickly come back into the game. But doesn't look like he's going to be checking out. I think with 3, 12:29 to go, you can still let him play a little bit. Smith is going to approach the table, and actually he is going to come in now before the play starts.
And Richardson's, we're going to see his first action of the second half here. And he did foul out against UPJ. He also fouled out against IUP too. So he doesn't like Wednesdays. Windsor in and out, almost the lead for Seton Hill, but Smith grabs the rebounds.
And that was a great rebound there, using his long arms, just cradle it into his stomach.
Jackie Beck over to Jabby. Jabby over to Marks. Now to Jackie Beck. Vulcans keep winning time here. 15 on the shot clock. Fires it out to Jabby. Over to Jackie Beck. Trying to find some 8 on the shot clock. Here's Jabby over to Marks. Marks, he's looking to go on the score. Stolen away by Taylor. He's going to have a wide open look and a layup, and Seton Hill leads once more.
And we couldn't really see, the steal right there. I was looking at the box, looking at the passing down low. I couldn't see the steal. You probably had a better look at it, but it looked like it was a clean swipe, from Taylor.
He read it perfectly. Now Smith looking to respond, backs up, pulls away for a jumper, and good. Richard Smith ties the game up. Back and forth.
That's 8 points and 9 rebounds now for Smith.
So he's working on a double-double himself. So Windsor will take it back, slow it down here, 11-19. We're all tied at 41. Another great game between these two local rivals. Here is Stredanovic. Guard around, pulls back. 10 on the shot clock now. Tries to work around, pulls jumper, no good. Rebounded by Armin Marks.
Well, we've not called Marks' name a lot. He's not really contributed a whole lot, but he's been a good role player out there for the Vulcans.
Jack Eubank for three, and a huge shot there from Jack Eubank. 44-41.
And boy, California's missed that three-point shot. It can extend the lead just like that. And Jack Eubank, the best three-point shooter California has, he's been sorely missed the last few weeks.
He's got 2 tonight. Stredanovic over to Klein. Klein hands it off to Windsor. See how Seton Hill responds. Inside to Bowling, gets punched out by Richardson, and they're going to call a foul on him.
And I think Richardson agrees, knowing that I got that foul called on me.
And that's only his first. Another player that likes getting foul trouble. And this will be our second media timeout of the second half. When we come back, we will have the second half of the second half, with the Vulcans up by 3 over the Seton Hill Griffins. Stay tuned.
We have so much to celebrate in Division II, but we're especially proud of our commitment to make a wish.
Division II student athletes have led a 10-year initiative to raise funds and help grant wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions.
Nearly $3 million have been raised, and hundreds of children's wishes have been granted. We play hard, we work hard, and we support others in need. Why? It's simple.
Because we care.
And welcome back to the Convocation Center. Here we have 10:20 left here in the second half, and Tyler Bowling will be going to the line here for Seton Hill. I believe this is his first appearance.
Yeah, he's 60.9% on the season coming into this one. This is 2 shots.
And he missed the first one. And I don't think he really goes a lot because he's really come on late. We didn't see a lot of Tyler Bowling in the previous matchups I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I actually have never heard his name. When I was making up our stat sheets, I had never heard his name called before when I saw any of the Seton Hill games. Even though I actually was not there for the first one, so you would know a lot more than I would.
So here's Nick Miller. We're seeing him for the first time today, the reigning Whippeal scoring champ out of Western Beaver.
This is the first time we've seen him in a while, but with Jason Kapko out with injury tonight, Miller is going to get the call. And California's been forced into shooting a lot of three-pointers. Nick Miller is very good at it.
And Nick Miller actually started against Seton Hill at this two. Marks throws 2 people off, can't get the layup to go. Marks goes up and draws the foul. But great play there by Marks, but it's one thing of his game. He misses the easy layup sometimes.
That foul's going to go on Klein. That's his first. That's team 7th now. 4 for California. So from here on out, California's going to be shooting free throws.
So Marks will go to the line here, 70.4% on the season, something as he was kind of having a drill there with Calvin Brown, where he would shoot free throws, Brown would shoot free throws, kind of after practice here. And Marks will make the first one. That's his first point of the day.
And updating some of the scores around the PSAC West, IUP up 43-24 on Slippery Rock, 16.5 to go. Edinburgh up 45-42 on Clarion with just under 14 left.
And Marks drills 2 right there, 2 big free throws, 4-point lead for the Vulcans.
And we don't have an update on UPJ Merciers. That one was actually having a delayed start due to the weather after the women's game had a delayed start till 6:15.
Now Windsor hands it off to Herman. Herman now To Windsor inside to Taylor. Back to Windsor. Windsor faked out Nick Miller in the 3. Now spins around. Puts up a shot. Richardson missed the block. Bowling tried to tip it in. Big scrum. He'll get it right back and flip it in himself.
That was just a crazy sequence for Seton Hill. David Windsor practically could have traveled like 4 or 5 times, but hopping around basically on a pogo stick out there, just keeping the play going alive.
So now Richard Smith at the top of the key, hands it off to Nick Miller. Miller over to Jackie Beck. Now back out to Miller at top of the key, over to Marks. Marks, long 2. And yanks it. Armin Marks starting to heat up.
That's 4 straight now for Marks, the lone senior on this team.
And Seton Hill's got to have nightmares of what Marks did to them to close out the season back last year in February. 3 from Herman. He makes it. Seton Hill responding once again from an unknown source.
Yeah, and you mentioned what Armin Marks did in that 21-point comeback win. He was the catalyst behind all of it. I think he had nearly 12, 15 points. He was a big factor that night.
One of the finest one-half performances out of a California player I've seen since I've been here. Jackie back over to Richard Smith. Smith draws a foul. Looks like it's going to be on Bowling.
That'll be Bowling's first, team 8th, so Smith going to go to line for a 1-and-1.
Definitely 2 shots right here. We're going to see Calvin Brown check in after these free throws. Well, check in anyway right now over Richardson, and then Davis will check in for Herman. So Smith 1 for 2 on the day from the free throw stripe.
And Richardson has blood on him. Ooh. And there's a little bit of it on his jersey, so he may be having to swap jerseys, similar to what Sierra Bear had to do in the women's game.
Smith makes the first free throw. That's a big free throw right there. And now Richard Smith has hit 9 points, looking for his 10th, and makes it. 2 big shots, Richard Smith.
And it looks like they're just kind of spraying a cleaning solution on Richardson's jersey at the moment, so we'll see if that would allow him to come back in.
Here's Windsor. Guarded by Marks and pulled back out. He'll reset the offense. He'll use Klein as a pick, work around. Backs up, gets the Klein, almost stolen away. Now inside to Bowling. Bowling works around Brown and puts in the 2 points. And Seton Hill once again down by 1.
Seton Hill, much like California, is starting to get contributions from a few other players in this half. 7:40 to go now in the second.
Marks to Calvin Brown. Now out to Jackie Beck. Jackie Beck for 3. In and out, rebounded by Taylor. Now Marks almost lucky he didn't get called for a foul there. He tried to pickpocket him. So Windsor will take it back here. Back and forth game. Looked like Cal would pull away early. Seton Hill came back, took the lead. Cal pulled away again, and then some unknown sources out. Here's Taylor. Gives it to Bowling. Out to Klein. Klein to Windsor. Windsor. Oh, good moves. Loses possession. Gets it back to Davis. Davis for 3. No good. Rebounded Calvin Brown. Fouled by Klein.
And Seton Hill's coaches are not happy with that call on Klein.
Double bonus.
That's going to be his second. And I actually don't know if it's going to be double bonus yet or not. That might only be 9. I think the scoreboard might have updated.
That is team 9th. Okay, so they updated late. We're going to have our third media timeout here. 7:03 left here in the game. Vulcan's holding a 1-point lead, but the fact that California has pushed Seton Hill deep in the foul trouble, overall team foul trouble is going to come huge because they're going to go free throw. But here, Zach, is they're going to tease our Facebook page here, California University Television. Like we post all our videos to YouTube, we put a lot of links to our stuff, but other links to different other TV stations and stuff. So definitely reach out to us, comment on the broadcast, let us know what we're doing, interact with us. We love interacting on social media.
Yeah, Facebook and Twitter, as you see right here, get the other end of the social media spectrum. Twitter's honestly my personal favorite anyways. It's easier, I think, to see what's going on. CUTV_PA. Go follow us, follow where we're going, what we're doing. And then, Matt, the best way to find Vulcan information, calvulcans.com.
The newly remastered calvulcans.com, set up by our sports information director, Matt Kiefer. Very more user-friendly than it already was. You can see old stats dating back years for all the teams. Previews, a new baseball preview on there saying they picked 4th. There's also going to be a baseball preview on our News Center broadcast this week.
Yeah, and And you also have softball starting
That's
up
right.
soon. I know you're going to have a preview of that on news coming up as well in the next coming weeks.
So now we're going to see Jabby, Richardson, Jackie Beck, Marks, and Brown. No changes for the Vulcans. Here's Davis, Klein, Taylor, Bowling, and Windsor. So both teams, no changes.
You know what? I just noticed on Tony Richardson, I like his socks. I know it's
Those are
random
nice
to say.
socks.
I like the design on
Those are
his
nice
socks. I want to figure out what brand those
They
are.
look
Those
like,
are really nice.
They almost look like Christmas socks.
Actually, they kind of do.
Anyway, Calvin Brown at the line makes the first one. He now extends his 18-point game, career night for him.
And then, Brown tonight nearing 20 points, a big monument for him.
So now Brown continues. Good night with 19 points now. And we're going to have 7:03 left. So California now up to a 3-point lead. It'll be interesting to see how Seton Hill responds.
In Seton Hill, I tell you what, they're going to try and hit a three-pointer here right now. They're going to try and tie it. That's what seems. That's what seems to happen all night in this game. Seton Hill has found a way to tie the game up when they've been down by 3 points.
Here's Davis. Davis out to Bowling, now to Taylor. Taylor loses possession. Brown's got it. Big wrestling match, jump ball, Seton Hill ball.
So Seton Hill, what looked to be a blown possession, California getting the big turnover. It works out for Seton Hill. And since it does not change possession, there's only going to be 14 left to shoot, Matt.
So Seton Hill's not going to have a lot of time to shoot in the possession area. We'll flat back for California. Now there's be discussion here. It might be discussing the shot clock.
Not exactly sure.
I was talking to Coach Brown.
All I saw the ref do was like a spinning motion. You might have seen it on your screen. Did it again. They're resetting the shot clock here.
Oh.
And I thought if Seton Hill kept possession, you don't do that. So that's an interesting call for me.
I guess since California took it, Brown had it back for a second here. Marks almost steals the inbounds pass.
Looking like Raheem Moore for the Broncos against Jacoby Jones for the Ravens.
Oh my goodness. Now, Klein had it, stole that. Richardson can't corral it in time. Will be out of bounds, Seton Hill ball.
Richardson, I think about 3 or 4 times tonight, has poked the ball out of the hands of Matt Klein. He is really doing a good job on the defensive end. Just not been able to come away with any steals yet so far.
So Noah Davis will inbound here. Fires it way back out to David Windsor. Almost crossed the midcourt there. That would have been over in the back. Windsor hands it off to Davis. Guarded by Marks. Hands it off to Taylor. Taylor, 10 on the shot clock. Taylor charges the basket. Brown rejects it, but somebody's going to get called for a foul. Looks like it's going to be on Marks.
That'll be Marks' second foul, team 5th foul. So 1 to give until Seton Hill's in the bonus. California is going to be in the double bonus from here on out.
So Cameron Taylor, he'll go to the line for the first time today. 72.4%. And makes the first one there.
13 points now for Taylor, all in this half. A tremendous second half effort from him.
Kind of looks like Armin Marks from, as I mentioned before, last February. Junior from DeMatha Catholic High School to make the second one there from Landover, Maryland, home of the Washington Redskins. Drew Cook to Calvin Brown. Now out the mark, Seton Hill really pressing.
And they were trying to trap Brown and Cook over here on the baseline, trying using the out of bounds as a third man, trying to step him out.
But notable alum from DeMatha Catholic High School, Vulcan football player Jeff Knox Jr. Richardson going up, he'll draw a foul, but I'll tell you what, Zach, that is not a bad foul at all for Seton Hill to take.
Yeah, we saw last week against UPJ.
2 for 10.
2 for 10. And that's going to be, if Richardson's out there, if Seton Hill did their studying, foul Richardson. I hate to put it on him, but that's the way Seton Hill could really start to maybe extend this game if they're down.
Richardson misses it.
And that last foul was on Tyler Bowling, so now officially California's in the double bonus from here on out. So that's the best thing if Richardson's at the line. He does at least get 2 opportunities. It's not a 1-and-1.
Richardson once more makes it. He's got to feel good about that one. That's his first point of the night.
And that's surprising that it's his first point of the night. He's done so much.
Here he has.
On both ends of the court. You would expect him to be on the scoreboard a little bit more, but no, I guess.
2-point lead for the Vulcans. Windsor over to Taylor. Taylor moves around, puts up a shot. Good, Cameron Taylor. What a performance, and we're tied again.
16 points this half. There's nothing you can do about the pure talent that Cam Taylor has, and he's only a junior, so that's another at least 2 games in the thorn, as being a thorn in the side of the Vulcans.
And he had a huge game last February as well. I'm going to date all the way back, and he had over 20 points in this January. Marks works around, out of bounds. Taylor tried to steal it away, but it'll go out on him. So California will retain possession here with 12 on the shot clock.
And we have 5:09 left in the game, so time really starting to wind down. California, Seton Hill, one of them has to start extending it out.
Richardson steals that ball away from Matt Klein. Spinning around, looking for someone. Now he works inside, over Klein, puts in the basket, and there's Richardson's first field goal of the day.
I was wondering why Richardson didn't just dribble away. He was standing there spinning around the entire time, looking for someone else. Then he decided to take it himself, and it worked out.
I think he was bored. I think he wanted to create some drama. What is he going to do with it?
Well, California certainly has been in a lot of drama games this year.
Yes, and this one's shaping up to be as Calvin Brown's going to get fouled again, as drawn there by Tyler Bowling.
That's his 4th. Richard Smith is going to check into the game. Now, I was wondering if Smith was going to come in for Richardson. He may be coming in for Brown at this time because of that 4th foul.
Bowling will go to the line. He was 1 for 2 last time, and he has 3 points today, 5 points today, excuse me. And makes the first one.
And he could tie it up with this one. And actually, we're going to see Richardson check out. So, Coach Bill Brown leaving Calvin Brown out there, 4:40 left, knowing 1 foul could take him out, and he's been your best offensive threat all day.
For the tie right here. Makes it. Clutch free throw shooting there by Bowling. He's got 7, and we're tied once again. Now Marks as Seton Hill moves into a press. Richard Smith over to Calvin Brown. Brown works inside, throws up a shot, no good. Rebounded by Klein.
You know a name we've not caught a lot this half? Khalil Jabby.
Oh, yes.
He had 8 points in the first half. He's not scored at all this half. Really haven't said his name a lot. Possessing the ball, passing it, and stealing it away.
Windsor. It's inside. Calvin Brown, he's got to watch it. It's up a shot, no good. Too strong, rebounded by Marks.
That's Marks' 4th rebound now of the night.
If you're Bowling there, he rushed the shot. He could have tried to use Calvin Brown as a pick there and tried to draw his 5th and final foul. Jabby over to Cook. Now over to Marks. Brown at the top of the key, goes over to Jabby, passing around the Cook. Out to Jabby. Setting offense, hands off to Richardson, almost loses it. The Marks for 3, no good. Rebounded by Windsor. Interesting shot choice there.
And Seton Hill could take the lead if they score in this possession.
And Seton Hill will take a timeout instead here. We'll see if it's the media timeout. And it will, I do not think it will be. So we will keep it here. Tie ball game here, 3:37 left. And you mentioned before, California, it seems like every single game is within 1-2 points. But California, most of those games, those close games with the exception of the Edinburgh road game way back in November, have lost those close games.
Yeah, it's been really close. And you know what, Matt? They are going to say this is the media timeout, but we might as well keep it here at this time because the time of our commercial breaks would interfere with the game. So we'll just keep it here. Tied at 55. Last game, when I was calling with Anthony D'Agostino, one of our announcers who's now on radio with Cody Jeanette, I was talking about how California lacked the clutch gene. They don't have anyone in this team that I would trust with taking the last shot. Maybe Armin Marks, but he's kind of disappeared at times this year. So I think California needs to find it at some point. You need to win this game to keep your playoff hopes alive, because right now, Edinburgh is up by 7 under 8 minutes left against Clarion. And the team you could be playing, Slippery Rock, is down 11 with 9 minutes left against IUP. And UPJ Merciers, I don't have that score update right in front of me because there was a delayed start. I don't know if I'll have time to get it up, but you can't rely on other teams losing to help you get in. Although UPJ, I really don't think they have another win on their schedule because they have a very difficult schedule. Edinburgh and UPJ play the last game of the year. That could decide if California gets in. If they don't win these 3 games, they have to win tonight. I think they have a very good shot at winning Saturday on Senior Day against Gannon as well. Slippery Rock, very tough environment, especially since it's at Slippery Rock. And we already mentioned before, they're such a good home team.
and a place they haven't won in years. They have not beaten Slippery Rock in men's basketball since February 2011.
And that's before either you or
I was a
have
senior in
been
high
here.
school.
I was a junior in high school, so it's been quite a long time.
Oh, Windsor loses the ball. A very catastrophic turnover for Seton Hill. Timeout. Oh, actually, this will be our immediate timeout, so we will send it to commercial break here with 3:27 left here. We're all tied at 55. Buckle up. It's going to be another tight one between the Vulcans and the Griffins here on CUTV.
NCAA Division II has much to cheer about, as nearly 100,000 student athletes compete with passion and pride. And I'm pleased to share the best news of all. Student athletes are outperforming the rest of the D2 student body in graduation rates. Just another reason why you'll hear us say with pride, I chose Division II. Learn more at d2sa.org.
With 18 institutions, my conference is the largest league across all NCAA classifications. With nearly 7,000 student athletes competing in 23 championships, my conference sponsors the most championships in Division II. With a 78% academic success rate, my conference graduates student athletes well above the national average. We compete with passion. We take pride in our efforts in the arena and in the classroom. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Passion, pride, Pennsylvania.
And we are back here at the Convocation Center. 3:27 left in this tied ball game here between Seton Hill and California. It's crunch time, and it's setting up for another great game. These two teams always produce great games when they play.
Yeah, and of course, it's hard to beat the 21-point comeback, and of course, we're not going to have that here tonight.
Oh, long pass stolen away by Bowling to Taylor.
And that was a bad pass from Jabby. He had two teammates right in front of him. Go to them, don't force it down court, and try and make something happen.
Now Windsor works around Jabby, flips it out, almost stolen away there by Marks to Taylor. Taylor to Klein in the corner. Out to Taylor. Taylor's been the hot hand. 16 points this half. To Klein now out to Windsor. Windsor. Klein set up the pick on Jabby. Windsor flips it out to Taylor. Taylor moves inside. Taylor for the lead and bakes it. Has this kid missed all this half?
I really don't think so. 18 points
that is
now in
incredible.
This half.
So, I mean, he was wide open, pulled back three, went for the two. He can make anything, anywhere. Seton Hill with the lead. Brown over to Jabby. Jabby puts him some moves. No good. Rebounded by Klein. He lost it. Out of bounds. Taylor got it. Should be California ball.
Not exactly sure who they called it on. Right in front of our cameraman, Stephen Mannering. Good job of being able to get the play. And it looks like it is California ball. Khalil Jabby was going all out for that, trying to keep it in bounds and keep it California possession, but luckily enough for him, it went off a Seton Hill Griffin.
Kind of grabbing his arm there a little bit as he flips it out to Brown. Brown gets it back to Jabby. Now out to Jackiebeck. To Richard Smith. Smith goes to the basket, puts up a shot, no good. Foul on Seton Hill. We'll see who it's on.
It's going to be on Bowling. That's his third. We're going to see Drew Cook come back into the game in a moment. Smith going to the line for 2 shots.
And Smith's been great this half. He's had 10 of his own. And makes it 1 point game here. Smith was 2 for 2 last time. And here's Cook. He's going to come in for Jackiebeck.
And Cook definitely a lot better on the defensive end than Jackiebeck is. Jackiebeck is your offensive substitution to come in when California gets possession of the ball during a timeout in play.
Smith, 2 clutch free throws. That's 4 in a row. He's got 11. We're tied again.
He actually has 12 now
12 updated.
after adding with that free throw. And the big thing is Richard Smith does not have a foul yet, so at least you have a post player not in foul trouble.
He can play aggressive too. Now Windsor goes right around, in and out, rebounded by Marks. That was a huge miss.
That's 6 rebounds now for Marks. He may not have scored a lot tonight, but 6 rebounds is huge for the senior.
1:48 left. Smith over to Jabby. Brown's double team, hands off to Marks. Marks for 3. Good, Marmon Marks, the senior is clutch. Timeout, Bill Brown.
And California taking a timeout to set their defensive lineup now. 1:30.
There's your clutch shot. There's your clutch shot out of Mr. Marks.
I hate to say it in the way that it's going to sound, but it's about time. I've expected that from Armand Marks all year. And talking to him on the Bill Brown Show,
what a humble guy. I mean,
he's a very humble guy, and I understand, he's accepted his role as the sixth man on this team. He's shown right now why, on Saturday at least, he should probably get the start. As you look at the PSAC West standings, California will be facing off against first place Gannon on Saturday on senior day for Armand Marks. We already mentioned some of the scores earlier. Edinburgh now up by 7 on Clarion. Clarion, if they lose, that would eliminate them from contention. IUP up on Slippery Rock by only
Rock's closing
9 right now, so Slippery Rock is starting to close in just slightly with 6:12 left.
So still a lot of time. This game is well ahead of everyone else.
And if Slippery Rock does come back to beat IUP, IUP slips down to the 4th spot because Slippery Rock beat them at Slippery Rock. That's huge, which then California, if they would move up, would play IUP in the first round instead of Slippery Rock, which is a much tougher matchup in my opinion.
It's crazy to think that IUP, 2 weeks ago, they beat Gannon on their home court. We're thinking, oh, IUP is going to win the West. And they've slipped since. They've had a rough time in Erie County, 0-2. Here is Bowling. Working around, ties makes it a 1-point game, excuse me.
Yeah, I honestly thought it'd been tied because every time they make a
right?
basket, it seems that they tie it. So 60-59, a minute 13 left. California needs to hit a big shot, play defense, force Seton Hill to do something they don't want to do.
Well, I can see why they like using Tyler Bowling with 9 points so far in this game. He's only a freshman too, so now 58 seconds, we're under a minute. Drew Cook, pump fakes. Stolen away by Taylor. Are you kidding? Taylor gives Seton Hill the lead. Unbelievable. It's the second time he's done that. He's had 20 points this half.
And that's a timeout called by Bill Brown now. 46.5 left. 32 on the shot clock. California cannot hold for last possession. However, I think if they were smart, they would play for 2 possessions here. Get it off about 38 seconds. So you have about 8 seconds, I think, to really do something here before then you're going to have to get in the foul situation, and that's not worked at all for California this year. Change it up. Play for the 1-and-1 possessions here.
And, I mean, they've been decent at the free throw stripe, but, I mean, you think Marks gets the big shot there. Cal's up 3. Maybe they can hold it, and then Seton Hill just storms right back. And, I mean, unbelievable just steal. You just see Taylor come out of nowhere. And we said about Marks' performance, but this is one of the finest performances I've seen in a single half since my 2 years of calling basketball for CUTV.
Yeah, David Windsor, he had 12 in the first half for Seton Hill. Cameron Taylor came in and said, I can do you a few better. 8 better, in fact. 20 in the second half for him.
Unbelievable, and they still have to deal with him like you said. Here is Jabby. 35 seconds left. Over to Jackie back. Jabby almost lost it. Taking their time, gives over to Jackie back. Over to Jabby.
Cal now has to play for the fouls after they make a shot if they do.
Jabby goes to the basket, gets fouled. Smith puts it in, will be well after the basket, but Jabby, the team's best free throw shooter, will go to the line.
See where the foul goes on. That's going to go on Bowling. That's his 4th. So the guy that's been hurting them could be taken out of the game. We're going to see Noah Davis approach the table as well as Drew Cook.
And Davis is 46.2% from the 3-point stripe, so that might be why he's coming to get your best shooters out here for the offense. But now shot clock is turned off, and Khalil Jabby with probably 2 of the biggest free throws of this season.
You have to at least make 1 here to tie it.
Jabby ties it.
Now, if you're California, if Jabby makes this one, what do? Because you're up by 1 then. You don't have to foul. Because if you foul, you give them easy points. Do you play defense and say, hey, if they make it, they beat us? Yeah. I don't know if I do that because this is a huge game for playoff implications.
It's a huge game.
I think I would foul and honestly take the last opportunity.
The way especially Cameron Taylor's been shooting, Jabby makes it clutch. Ice in the veins for Mr. Jabby. Now Seton Hill, shot clock is off.
Those are his only 2 points in his half.
Down by 1.
Now.
Timeout Seton Hill. They'll set some here. 20 seconds left. And I could feel my heart pumping. It's just another day in the life of California men's basketball, 2014-2015.
Yeah, and tell you what, this is probably coming down to a buzzer-beating shot, I think. I think Coach Bill Brown's going to tell his team, play defense. If they beat us, they beat us. I don't ever mean to question Coach Brown. He's been here for a long time. He's a great coach. But if I were coaching the Vulcans right now, I would say foul immediately because that would be only the first foul in the 1-and-1. So even if they make the first one and tie it, they can miss the second, and that gives you final possession. I would honestly go say foul. That's what I would do.
Foul someone who's not very good at the free throw strike.
Well, honestly, Seton Hill's not the greatest free throw shooting team, only 70% on the year. Some of the guys that you might see out there, Noah Davis, 72%.
Don't foul Cameron Taylor because he's made every single thing that's touched his hands.
Yeah, Windsor, 77%. Taylor, 72%. Herman, 93%. So a couple really good free throw shooters would probably be out there. But I think it's for the best interest of the Vulcans to foul someone and guarantee yourself that last possession, that chance to win. The defense has been good for the Vulcans tonight, but if you get the ball into the hands of someone like Windsor or Cameron Taylor, then that could be catastrophic. And now Seton Hill's going to take another timeout.
Why not? But you know, it's funny. We've seen a lot of the recent minutes here. We've seen Matt Klein, Tyler Bowling, no Spencer Kaysen, no Damjan Sredanovic, no Naboza Stanojevic. So a lot of guys that California normally doesn't play against have been keeping us in the game. And Zach, I mean, while we're here, Coach Brown, you can see wearing that nice little pink dress shirt over there underneath his suit. He's wearing pink because it was the women's pink game. It was the Play for a K game for honoring the late Coach Kay Alf, former NC State coach, one of the best of all time. And I mean, I'm wearing a pink tie. You're wearing a pink striped tie, so it's definitely a great cause. It's great to see Coach Brown reach out for the other team here.
Yeah, and some of the players I noticed are wearing socks with pink ribbons on them. I think Calvin Brown is doing it. He's the only one I could definitely tell from my vantage point at this moment.
Windsor grabs the inbounds. What will he do? Windsor to Davis. To Taylor. Taylor for the lead. He makes it. Unbelievable. Now Marks. Here comes 9 seconds. California, they need a strike. Jabby goes to the basket. Puts up a shot. No good. Out of bounds. Windsor throws it down. It's over. Seton Hill wins.
Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable. Are you kidding me?
Again, California gets snake bitten in the last seconds. It's ridiculous how many times this has happened all year, Matt. And there was no foul on that shot for Jabby.
Yeah, no words.
There are literally no words except for what we're saying right now to describe that California, they have to win out to make playoffs at this point because Edinburgh, with their lead, is probably going to jump them in standing.
That will do it tonight. Seton Hill destroys the hearts of California. 63-62, our next broadcast, Senior Day, against Gannon, 5 o'clock. For Zach Prosper, my name's Matt Hagee. Good night, everyone.